door for that conversation. And, I'll tell you, when that honesty gets out there, it does a lot more benefits.
That's very good to hear. Now, so as far as legalization's effects, as a prevention counselor, from your point of view, is this making it now easier to prevent teenagers from getting involved with risky marijuana behaviors?
Well, we're dealing with, as far as teenagers go, is, they have, they have a few more years to go in their brain development, right?
Yeah.
So our brains develop till mid-20s, and up until that point, whether you're looking at caffeine, alcohol, marijuana, or other drugs, anytime you put a substance on a developing brain, there's potential for adverse effects. Ultimately, the messaging and the strategies are still fairly similar, in the sense that we want to build up community that supports individuals and give individuals enough information and awareness so that they are consciously making choices, ideally in the right direction for themselves.
It's good that we've legalized and we've opened up the possibility for more conversations, but if those conversations still are still consisting of some of the messages we've heard in the past from drug prevention, this is your brain on drugs, fried eggs, all the terrible gateway rumors and such. If we still get the same information out, will it make much difference? Or is this now allowing us to, at least the folks on your side, to change the information that's coming out?
That's a great question, because there's colleagues of mine that are still rooted in that old school narrative. We still have prevention folks that are using fear tactics, and what I am seeing is this amazing opportunity to change the subject from prevention to community building. When we look at community building, we're looking at other infrastructure pieces and other educational pieces that can go into communities and, be presented to people that is honest. Anytime that we have, the propensity to come from fear or, any of the old school pieces, I look at that as a very righteous move. And I think that a lot of people have it in their minds that drug prevention is outdated in general.
Yeah.
And I'm just seeing this opportunity, and a lot of it is propelled by the marijuana legalization in a few states. There's just this opportunity to change that conversation, and let's get rid of drug prevention altogether, because a lot of it is outdated. A lot of it still is outdated.
Yeah, just even with legalization in Colorado, the first round we heard from Colorado prevention people was the "Don't Be a Lab Rat" campaign with the big steel cages. And what was the first thing the kids did was smoke pot in one of the cages.
Yeah, exactly. That came out of our governor's office, and a couple $1 million went into that campaign. And what a waste of money.
Yeah. What would you like to see as far as an official campaign from the state with regard to teenagers and marijuana use?
What would I like to see? That's a great question.
Yeah, if you could make a commercial or a billboard or whatever, something that's snappy and quick that would get your main point across.
Oh, man. It would definitely include, it's not about drugs, it's about life.
Yeah,
where do you want to go, kind of thing. Kind of tapping into individual values and honoring people as individual people would be a piece of that.
This is, I'm really happy to hear from you, Matthew, because this is a really enlightened view of drug prevention and policy. I of course come from the marijuana legalization side, been working with NORML for years, but I always stress the fact that I'm a child of addiction. My dad was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And if it weren't for 12-step programs and detoxes and a lot of counseling and help, he'd probably be dead. So I'm not antipathetic toward drug rehab and the problems people can develop with substance abuse issues. I've just always been in opposition to the scaremongering and the fearmongering that comes along with that, when it could be so much better dealt with honesty and enlightenment. And that sounds to me like what you're trying to do.
That's exactly what we're pushing on. And you may know this already, regardless of the substance, roughly 80% of the users of marijuana or alcohol are using these substances responsibly. There's going to be 20% of any users that tend to, well, let me just put it this way. A study came out from the Department of Revenue in Colorado, and it mirrors some other studies among other substances. Roughly 20% of marijuana consumers are consuming 80% of the product. Mm-hmm. So this 20-80 rule lives on. So there's certainly, an ongoing need for the effective rehab and treatment programs, because there's going to be, roughly this 20% of any substance that's going to get close to where abuse might happen. Nonetheless, the majority of users of alcohol and marijuana, cigarettes, caffeine, are going to use it responsibly and still be productive adults that, put a lot of their time and energy into society. And, drug prevention is dated back into the days when marijuana was initially prohibited. And heck, at that time, in the 1900s, there was a lot of fear around it. And, I might say that would be rooted in racism.
I would agree.
Now we have an opportunity just to kind of open up the conversation, get farther away from addressing drug problems, because that's not truly effective anyway. And let's get more resources focused into community-based programs that truly do address life problems, and we'll see stronger communities, better economics, and more healthy people in general.
That's wonderful to hear. We're speaking with Matthew Scott Kuehlhorn from Thrive Community and Youth. And before we forget, do you have some Facebooks or websites people could look up to get more info?
Yep, everything can be found at Community Thrive. So that's our handle on Twitter, that's our handle on Facebook, and then communitythrive.org is our website.
Excellent. Now, you speak to the effect of building strong communities, and now in Washington and Colorado, and soon in Alaska and Oregon, pot shops and growers will be a part of these communities. Yet a lot of communities rebel against that. They want to ban them, they want to push them out and give them no voice at the table. How would you see an effective community building work in a place with legal marijuana and legal marijuana businesses that might want to contribute it? For example, the grower up in Washington State had a pot auction, wanted to give away $14,000 to the local school, and they rejected it, despite the fact that the local school gets money from lottery, gets money from alcohol tax. I mean, it made no sense to me.
Well, I don't see marijuana legalization being about marijuana necessarily. It's, to me, more of a culture shift, and culture shift takes time. So you're going to have various communities and pockets that are going to be more conservative than others. They're going to take more time for this culture shift and change in perspective to happen. Locally, what I've seen, when I was directing our county's substance abuse prevention project, I very quickly reached out to the marijuana businesses that were setting up shops in our area and brought them to our table with open arms. And what they were able to do was share their perspectives and share information that then got into the community, and all of a sudden, things like dabs and shatter and the edibles and the various aspects that tend to make it in media as being sensational, scary stuff weren't so sensational and scary. People understood it better. People understood the culture that came with that. And through that was just a little bit of opening, but also a realization that everybody's interests are pretty much the same. When you get down to the common interest of youth, everybody comes to the table and says, yes, we care about the health of our youth. And when you start at that common interest, then you can implement things within a community that really supports youth, regardless of whether marijuana is legal or not.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because one of the talking points we hear from some people on the anti-legalization side is that we're somehow trying to create this big marijuana that wants to market and recruit children. And that's the farthest thing from anybody who I know who's in the marijuana business that wants to attract children.
Right. Yeah, I have yet to meet that person too.
Yeah.
And, the whole piece around big corporate entities, that's always been there. That was one of the pieces that propelled alcohol prohibition, was all of a sudden this huge corporate entity was kind of taking over our minds and our wallets kind of thing. And, that's part of living in America or a capitalistic society. So that's going to be regardless of the industry present.
Well put. All right. Matthew Scott Kuehlhorn from Thrive Community and Youth. You can find him at Community Thrive on the internet, on Facebook, on the social media. I think I got that right, didn't I?
Yep.
Community Thrive. All right. I'm excited about this. The idea that a younger generation of prevention specialists, of health professionals are going to come alive in this legalization world with some sense and want to bring us to the table and come up with solutions we can all work with. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And any last words for our audience?
Radical Russ, I really appreciate the time. And, for your audience, I would just say if you want to learn more or get involved with Community Thrive and kind of this change in perspective, just stop by the website, communitythrive.org.
Fantastic. Matthew, thank you for being on the show today, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Enjoy the day.
All right. And I will. It's a beautiful day in Portland, Oregon today. We actually saw this big yellow glowing disc in the sky. I've heard rumors of it. They call it sun. Oh, boy. Some sunshine shining on me today. It's really nice talking to Matthew there from Thrive Community and Youth. Yet another way the Kevin Sabets in the world are dinosaurs slowly going extinct. Let's see if we can speed that up a bit. Stay tuned. We got the anti-drug public service announcement of the day, followed by a radical rant on the Cromnibus bill. It will embiggen all of us. Right back after this.
You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.